It started a week after Liam's funeral. A small brown cardboard box appeared on my doorstep. Nothing strange about that, right? I get packages all the time, but this one wasn't for me. The shipping label was crisp and clear, addressed to Liam Henderson. My address was listed, but his name was printed in bold, unmistakable letters. My blood ran cold. Liam, my best friend since kindergarten, had been gone for 2 weeks. I called the delivery company immediately. "There must be some mistake," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "The recipient at this address passed away." The customer service agent was polite but unhelpful. "The package was addressed and delivered correctly, sir. We can't take it back." Confused, I brought the box inside, placing it on the kitchen counter. It was light, almost empty feeling. I shook it gently. A faint, dry rustle came from within. For a moment I thought about opening it. A morbid curiosity pricked at me. But it felt wrong, like invading his privacy, even now. I decided to wait, thinking maybe a family member had ordered something for him before he was gone. A few days later, another one arrived. This one was slightly larger, wrapped in plain brown paper. Again, addressed to Liam Henderson at my address. My heart hammered against my ribs. This wasn't a coincidence. 2 packages in less than a week? I didn't even know who would be sending them. Liam didn't have much family, just a distant aunt he hadn't spoken to in years. I stacked the second box on top of the first, a growing sense of dread creeping up my spine. The house felt colder, emptier than usual. That night I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the floorboards, every rustle of leaves outside my window sounded like footsteps. I kept glancing at the corner of my room, where shadows danced and played tricks on my eyes. I thought about Liam. We'd shared this apartment for 3 years. His room was still exactly as he'd left it, a silent testament to a life cut short. The thought of going in there sent a shiver down my spine. The 2 boxes on the counter felt like a heavy weight on my mind. What was inside them? Why were they coming here? The third package arrived on a Tuesday. This one was a long, thin tube, the kind you'd use for posters or blueprints. Liam's name was scrawled across it in messy, urgent handwriting. That's when the real fear set in. This wasn't some automated subscription service. Someone was actively sending these things, someone who knew Liam and knew he lived here, or at least thought he still did. My hands shook as I picked it up. It was strangely cold to the touch. I lined it up with the other 2. They looked like a bizarre, unwanted collection. I spent the rest of the day trying to distract myself, but my gaze kept drifting back to the packages. I tried calling Liam's aunt, but her number was disconnected. I searched his contacts, his emails, anything that might give me a clue. Nothing. It was as if he'd vanished without a trace, leaving only these mysterious deliveries behind. The silence in the apartment was deafening. It was the kind of silence that amplifies every little sound, every paranoid thought. I started to feel like I was being watched. That evening, I finally snapped. I couldn't take the suspense anymore. I had to know what was inside. With a deep breath, I grabbed the first box, the small, light one. My fingers fumbled with the tape. I tore it open, my heart pounding in my ears. Inside, nestled in a bed of tissue paper, was a single dried oak leaf. It was perfectly preserved, its edges crisp and brown. I stared at it, utterly baffled. An oak leaf? What could that possibly mean? Liam and I used to collect them as kids in the park behind our old school. It was our secret hideout. But that was decades ago. Hesitantly, I moved to the second box. This one was heavier. I ripped the paper away to find another simple cardboard box. I lifted the lid. My breath caught in my throat. Inside was a handful of sand and a single small seashell. I recognized it instantly. It was from our trip to the coast the summer after graduation. We'd spent a week camping on the beach, a trip we'd always talked about recreating. A cold knot of dread tightened in my stomach. These weren't random items. They were memories. Our memories. My hands were trembling uncontrollably now as I reached for the third package, the long tube. I pulled off the plastic cap and carefully slid out the contents. It was a rolled-up piece of paper. I unfurled it on the table. It was a crudely drawn map, a map of our childhood neighborhood. An X was marked over the old park, right where our secret hideout used to be. Below the X, a single word was written in the same messy scrawl as the address label. Tonight. Tonight? My mind raced. Who was sending this? And why? Was it some kind of sick joke? A prank from one of our old friends? But no one else knew about all these specific things. Only Liam. A horrifying thought, absurd and impossible, flickered in my mind. I pushed it away. It couldn't be. He was gone. I saw him. I was at the funeral. But the evidence was right there, spread across my kitchen counter. A leaf from our park, sand from our beach trip, a map to our hideout. Against my better judgment, I knew I had to go. The X on the map was a siren's call I couldn't ignore. I grabbed my keys and a flashlight, my mind a whirlwind of fear and confusion. The drive to the old park was a blur. The place was deserted at this hour, shrouded in darkness and silence. The old oak tree, our hideout, stood tall and imposing in the moonlight. As I got closer, I saw something at its base. Another package. This one was larger than the others, wrapped in the same plain brown paper. My flashlight beam danced across the box. There was a note attached. I picked it up, my fingers numb with cold and fear. The note had only 3 words, written in that same familiar, messy handwriting. Liam's handwriting. It read, "You forgot one." I tore open the box with frantic energy. Inside was a framed photograph. It was of the 2 of us, taken on that beach trip years ago. We were smiling, arms thrown around each other, the picture of youthful friendship. But that wasn't what made my heart stop. Tucked into the corner of the frame, almost hidden, was a small folded piece of paper. My hands shook as I unfolded it. It was a receipt for the purchase of 4 custom-wrapped packages. The date on the receipt was from 3 weeks ago, the day before Liam died. He had sent them. He had sent them all to himself, knowing he wouldn't be here to receive them. But why? Then I saw the delivery instructions at the bottom of the receipt. If recipient is unavailable, it read, leave with resident. He'll know what to do. He'll know what to do. The words echoed in my head. He'd planned it. This whole thing was a scavenger hunt from beyond the grave. It was his way of saying goodbye, his way of making sure I remembered all the good times we shared, from our childhood adventures to our last trip together. Tears streamed down my face, a mix of grief and a strange, profound sense of connection. He wasn't haunting me. He was reminding me. Standing there under the branches of our old oak tree, holding the picture of our friendship, I finally understood. It wasn't a horror story. It was a love story. A final, beautiful, heartbreaking goodbye from my best friend. And I knew exactly what I had to do. I had to remember. For both of us. Thank you so much for coming along on this emotional journey with me. If this story touched you, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out. And I have so many more stories to share with you all. Stay safe and remember to cherish the people you love. See you in the next one.